So here we are again. We'll be doing some more of this landscape. Yeah, I think on the last installment of this particular tutorial I talked about keep going lighter and lighter, which is what we'll do. And we've already tackled the blues and the sort of subtle purples and magentas, but what we are going to do, just look at the colour wheel again. So what we are doing is we're going to be going to the next colour on the colour wheel. So basically what we've done already, I talked about this in the first video in relation to this one, we're doing an analogous colour palette. So basically what that means is 2 or 3 colours on the colour wheel which are the same side of the colour wheel. So for example, what we're doing the purples, the blues and the magentas. So we're kind of tackling these 3, and we will be going into the 3rd colour momentarily, into that more brighter pink, and bring out those lighter hues with the pink. We've already did the ground in blue, it was more of a Prussian blue, and we've done a lot of purples and things like that, and we're going to slowly go into that 3rd colour. So remember, monochrome is just one colour, so if this was just all blue with shades of grey and white and black, it will be a monochrome. But because this is analogous, we've used a combination 2 or 3, but it's on the same side of the colour wheel. If it was a different formation of colours, different colour palette completely, complementary colours will be using yellows and purples or reds and greens or whatever the complementaries were. But today, on this image, we're just going to focus on those 3. And on this particular video, we're just going to look at the magenta tones. Now, at the moment, we've got lots of lighter colours coming in on the horizon, in the sky and the clouds, and especially those more contrasted, pungent tones on the water. I've poured myself out, again, the very basic 4 colours we need: the magenta, the Prussian blue, the black and the white. That's all you need for this painting. We're ignoring the other colours on the actual photograph. For example, the subtle, very subtle greens on the bushes on the left hand side. Maybe if you see any yellow on the lamp post, the white there, we're going to ignore that. And any of those subtle sandy colours and those turquoisey colours in the water, we're completely ignoring, because we're just going to remain to this colour palette and do equivalent colours for that to limit it. Yeah, so what I would do in this situation at the start is, because I like to be bold and I like to do things spontaneously sometimes, and I like to get sometimes the most important things out of the way first, is we're just going to do the colour on the horizon. Now, in the image, a lot of the light source is coming, the purple, the intense purple's coming over here, and it slowly drifts to the right, it slowly gets a bit darker. But what we are going to do is we're going to slightly, I think we'll go for quite a heightened colour. So I don't know if you see that, so I'm mixing the colours. And I'll use put a better brush actually. I'll use a bigger brush for the mix. So magenta, a little bit of the blue there. So we've still got that purple. And then the white. So already it's a lot more of a stronger colour than any colour we've already got on the composition, which is good. But then it's still not light enough as the lightest tones, which I believe are the clouds on the top left hand side, but they are slightly desaturated. When you squint your eyes, you can see the most contrasted colours, probably the shadows in the water and then the horizon. So what I've done there, I've created quite a simple sort of pinky colour, light pink, predominantly magenta, a little bit of Prussian blue, and then the white. I haven't added any black because I think it's quite a strong colour, and I think it'd be nice to get that strong colour on the horizon. Now, you could use a flathead if it helps, getting that straight line across. I actually might just use a flathead to go some of the way. And I am going to be copying the photo in the sense of the strongest tone is on the left and it slowly dulls as it gets to the right. So I'm going to just use that flathead here. Notice I'm sitting down as well, I think, because I sit down with a lot of my work. If I'm doing more expressive style painting, or I'm starting a composition, I think it's sometimes nice to stand up because you get that energy going. But if you need a bit more concentration, a bit more sensitivity with your brush strokes, you can maybe sit, it helps. So what I'm doing is I'm going to get that lighter tone on the horizon. Now it's quite a strong tone now, which is good. I'm coming across and I'm scumbling a little bit. So what I'm doing as I'm coming across, I'm applying a really straight line on the horizon, which we've depicted with that sort of greyish blue originally. And as I'm coming to the top, going into that slightly lighter, more faded purple up here, I'm scumbling. So what that is when you have less paint on your brush naturally, because I've used a lot down here, and you're slightly brushing slightly lighter, so it fades and the paint just delicately sits on top of the previous tone like that. Yeah, we're going to use some more of this, so we're going to come in here, go in between the bench. As I said, the bench we are going to be touching up later, so just get those pink bits in between the bench there, those lighter pinks, and then down here the tree, and then we're going to carry on, come along the horizon. Now I'll suggest cut in to that horizon line because the horizon is too thick. It's a very, very subtle line and it's too thick already. This is drying out. This is one of the problems of acrylic. You need to mix a lot of paint because it will dry out really quickly. Might be doing some oil tutorials another time, so we won't have that problem necessarily. I'm going to carry on. So this flathead isn't very good. I'm sure you've got a better one, but I think it's going to come across there. Right across that horizon.